Jannik Sinner withdraws from Shanghai Masters 1000 due to injury. The defending champion of the Shanghai Masters 1000, Jannik Sinner, has withdrawn from the tournament after suffering severe cramps in his right leg during his third-round match against Talon Griekspoor. The Italian, world number 2, had won the first set in a tight tiebreak, but his body could not withstand the demanding heat and humidity that marked the day. After more than 2.5 hours of play, he decided to retire while trailing 3-2 in the deciding set, visibly limited in his movements. The match began with a high-level exchange of shots. Both players held serve and barely conceded any break opportunities. The Wimbledon champion imposed his quality in long rallies and closed out the first set 7-6, 3, showing that his defense remained as solid as during the previous Asian swing. However, the accumulated physical effort began to take its toll as the match progressed, and the Dutchman took advantage of the first signs of fatigue in his rival. In the second set, Griekspoor saved a crucial break point at 3-4 and managed to keep the contest even. His aggressive serving allowed him to escape a critical situation and later break in the 11th game to take the set 7-5. The tension of the duel turned into a physical problem for Sinner, who began to feel stiffness in his right thigh and sought relief by applying ice and elevating his legs during changeovers. Physical problems end the match. In the third set, the scene changed completely. The Italian started limping between points and could barely push off with the affected leg. Despite his intention to continue, his movements became slower and his shots lost power. Griekspoor broke his serve in the fifth game, and after a brief medical timeout, Sinner approached the chair umpire to announce his retirement. He needed assistance from tournament staff to leave the court, supported by the medical team, as the crowd gave him a standing ovation. The loss represents a major blow in his pursuit of the world number 1 ranking, where Sinner was trying to close the gap with Carlos Alcaraz. His withdrawal leaves him unable to defend the points earned in last year's edition, widening the gap of more than 2,500 points between them in the race to the ATP Finals in Turin. His exit also opens the draw for Novak Djokovic, who is chasing his 5th Shanghai title. Griekspoor, for his part, became the first Dutch player in history to reach the round of 16 at the tournament. After the match, he acknowledged the tough conditions and regretted the ending. "It's not the way you want to win," he said. In the next round, he will face Valentin Vaquero, while Sinner's immediate future will depend on his recovery in a season that still includes the Paris Masters, the ATP Finals in Turin, and the Davis Cup with Italy. Sinner's striking message about Alcaraz and his withdrawal from Shanghai. The world number 2 expressed regret that the Spanish player from Murcia could not participate in the Masters 1000 in China during his statements after his second-round victory. The Shanghai Masters 1000 continues despite losing Carlos Alcaraz at the last minute, a withdrawal that undoubtedly reduced the tournament's appeal. Even so, expectations remain high with stars like Novak Djokovic and Jannik Sinner in contention. Sinner spoke about Alcaraz's absence, saying, "It's a shame he's not here because I think he's the player everyone wants to see," said the world number 2 in the press conference after his second-round win over Daniel Altmaier. Carlos Alcaraz has had an extraordinary 2025 season, becoming the biggest draw for fans thanks to his incredible level of tennis. Since Wimbledon, he has won Cincinnati, the US Open, and the ATP 500 in Tokyo. Therefore, the fans' disappointment at not seeing the world number 1 in Shanghai is understandable, and they will have to wait to see him shine on court again. Sinner responds to Zverev's accusations. Hours after Alexander Zverev accused tournament organizers of favoring him and Carlos Alcaraz, the Italian remained calm but firm, offering a statement that sounded more like a lesson than a defense. "Carlos and I don't make the courts. It's not our decision. We try to adapt to every situation, and every week the conditions are a bit different." Without drama or complaints, Sinner dismantled the German's theory with disarming simplicity, reminding everyone that his success does not depend on court speed but on his ability to adapt and compete. "I've also played great tennis on faster courts," he added. "I don't make the courts, I just try to play my best wherever I'm scheduled to play. That's it." It was a short but powerful answer. Without seeking controversy, the Italian drew a line between those who complain and those who adapt. His calm yet firm tone reinforced what seems to define his character. In modern tennis, it's not the loudest who survive, but those who understand that every surface is just another challenge. With those words, Sinner not only responded to Zverev but sent a message to the entire circuit. Zverev denounces favoritism toward Alcaraz and Sinner. Alexander Zverev sparked controversy in Shanghai with explosive comments. "I hate that all the courts are the same. Tournaments want to benefit Sinner and Alcaraz." After qualifying for the round of 16, The German harshly criticized what he considers a deliberate strategy by organizers to favor the two biggest stars of the moment. His argument: the homogenization of surfaces, with increasingly slower courts that erase historical differences between tournaments and make things easier for Alcaraz and Sinner. It's true that Shanghai has reduced its court speed this year, with only Canada and Cincinnati remaining as fast hard-court bastions. But what stings is not the observation, it's Zverev's interpretation of it as a conspiracy to prevent others from challenging their dominance. Because while he cries favoritism, Sinner and Alcaraz have proven they can excel anywhere: grass, hard, clay, fast or slow courts. In Cincinnati, one of the fastest courts on tour, both reached the final. So where does that leave Zverev's theory? His complaints sound less like analysis and more like frustration from a world number 3 who cannot match the two leaders of the new era. Even Federer touched on this topic recently, saying it would be interesting to see how Sinner and Alcaraz adapt to truly fast conditions. But coming from Zverev, after a disappointing season, it smells more like frustration than insight. In the end, the real question is the homogenization of courts a real problem for tennis, or just an excuse from those who can't catch up to today's dominant duo? The striking stat showing the gap between Alcaraz and Sinner and the rest of the world. The Spaniard and the Italian dominate the scene with ever-growing superiority. In 2025 they've split nearly every title between them. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are far ahead of the field, and the gap separating them from the rest of the elite has only grown this year. They've contested 3 of the 4 Grand Slam finals in 2025, splitting the majors 2-2. It's becoming harder and harder to see either lose a match unless they face each other. Statistically, the difference is clear. The third-ranked Alexander Zverev trails Sinner, world number 2, by nearly 5,000 points. Zverev's 5,980 ATP points put him about 5,000 ahead of the world number 50, the same gap that separates him from the Italian. In short, after a 2025 season where Alcaraz and Sinner cemented themselves as the sport's two great leaders, the gap between them and the rest is staggering. The top 2 are further from the third than the third is from the 50th, statistically speaking. Serious attack from a tennis legend on Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz is going through a phase where his on-court brilliance is mixed with off-court debate. After winning the US Open, participating in the Laver Cup, and conquering Tokyo, the Spaniard decided to take a break and skip the Shanghai Masters 1000, citing the relentless demands of the tour. His comments sparked debate across the circuit, but the harshest response came from former doubles world number 1 and analyst Renee Stubbs, who accused him of hypocrisy. I find it funny because, as much as I appreciate Carlos, I've seen him signed up for almost every exhibition in December, from New Jersey to Saudi Arabia to Miami. How can he criticize the official calendar while filling his schedule with private, money-driven exhibitions? Stubbs referred in particular to the Six Kings Slam in Saudi Arabia, a luxury exhibition featuring several top players, which, while not offering ATP points, still involves travel, training, and physical exertion, exactly what Alcaraz said he wanted to reduce. The contrast is clear, criticizing the ATP for a packed schedule while accepting lucrative exhibitions. The debate raises a key question: where does the tour's responsibility end and the players begin in managing their workload? Defenders of Alcaraz argue that a 21-year-old has the right to enjoy his status and choose his commitments, while critics say his statements lose credibility if not matched by his actions. What's clear is that Alcaraz's presence transcends tennis. Every move, title, or exhibition fuels a broader debate: the eternal balance between show, business, and the physical toll on elite athletes. Saudi Arabia goes all out again with the Six Kings Slam, the $1 million tournament featuring Alcaraz. Saudi Arabia will once again host the Six Kings Slam, the most lucrative tennis exhibition in the world. From October 15 to 18, Riyadh will welcome the world's top 5 ATP players as part of the Riyadh season, a government-funded sports and entertainment festival. In this second edition, which awards $1 million to each participant and $6 million to the winner, Carlos Alcaraz will return to the Saudi capital hoping to reclaim the title. Joining him will be Jannik Sinner, winner of the first edition, Novak Djokovic, Alexander Zverev, Jack Draper, and Taylor Fritz. These 3 replace Rafael Nadal, Holger Rune, and Daniil Medvedev, who played in last year's event. Djokovic also criticizes Alcaraz over the calendar: you need to do more than just talk in press conferences. There are more exhibitions than ever, the same number of official tournaments, and Masters 1000s now last an extra week, leaving almost no breathing room. It's one of the main complaints among players, though also a double-edged sword, since more matches mean more prize money. Still, dissenting voices are growing louder. Like others, Alcaraz has spoken out, but Djokovic now says words aren't enough. I see a lot of players talking about tournament obligations just to earn bonus money. Then they sign up for exhibitions, so it's all a bit contradictory. There's a strong monopoly in tennis decision-making that's been there for decades, and many people don't want to change it. What I can say is that we players are not united enough, said the Serb. Djokovic's comments came during the Shanghai Masters 1000, from which Alcaraz withdrew to rest, shortly after signing up for an exhibition with Fonseca in Miami, and the Six Kings Slam in Saudi Arabia. It's worth noting that except for Madrid, Alcaraz has barely skipped any official tournaments this season. Djokovic went further in his remarks, indirectly calling out Alcaraz. "We complain, but we don't invest the time and effort needed to change things. The top players must get involved, understand how everything works, and do more than just talk in press conferences. I know this from experience," concluded the Serb.